The Heritage Foundation's influence all over the RNC, even if the Trump campaign has tried to distance itself from Project 2025. The ex-president has claimed that he knows nothing about the conservative plan for his second term, even though more than 100 people who served in his own administration helped craft its agenda. And several authors of Project 2025 spoke at the convention, but out of the highly rated primetime hours. This effort to put space between the Trump campaign and Project 2025 is deliberate. Here's Trump's senior advisor, Chris LaCivita, just this week.
That's pure speculation on your part. It's complete and utter for any reporter to write that this is the way it is, because it's not. That's what the left wants,
right.
But I'm not going to give into that.
Yeah.
And Susie's not going to give into it, and the president's made it clear. These people do not speak for him. They do not speak for the campaign.
Yeah.
You guys sure as hell give him a lot of leeway, because you're always writing the Trump campaign is going to start with the next Trump
They're hurting your campaign.
The next Trump
They're
campaign.
jamming you.
No, they're a pain in the
Joining us now, National Director of Policy and Government for the American Civil Liberties Union, Mike Zamore, and the President of the Human Rights Campaign, Kelly Robinson. Good morning.
Good.
Chris LaCivita seemed very pissed off and very upset about
defensive.
this Project 2025.
Very
you know,
defensive.
the Trump campaign, they keep sending these text messages, folks, that insist Trump's plan for the country is called Agenda 47. Mike, they're trying to distance themselves from Project 2025, but the policy is the same, it feels like, so make it make sense for us.
Well, look, I would distance myself from that policy, too, if I were them, because it's super unpopular. Americans don't want a plan to ban abortion nationwide, misusing current law. They don't want a plan to send police to hospitals and churches and schools to round up family members and break apart families and mass deportations. And they don't want the Department of Justice prosecuting Trump's political enemies and U.S. military in our streets to break up protests so they can lock in their power forever. Like, this is a dystopian vision for the future, which is why the ACLU is working to block it with everything we've got. But yeah, this is their plan. They want to spring it on us after they've already gotten in office.
So Kelly, just to further Simone's point about helping us make sense, I'd like to play for you, despite what Chris LaCivita said about, this plan is a pain in the behind. I'll clean it up because I don't want to get in trouble this early in the morning. Donald Trump had a different perspective, though, from April 21st of 2022. Let's listen to what he had to say about the plan that nobody knows anything about and doesn't want to have anything to do with.
Heritage does such an incredible job, and they're going to lay the groundwork and detail plans for exactly what our movement will do and what your movement will do when the American people give us a colossal mandate to save America. And that's coming. That's coming.
So can I just quote the former president one more time? Heritage is going to lay the groundwork and detail plans for exactly what our movement will do. So what does that say to you?
It says to me that Donald Trump is doing what he does again. He is lying directly in our faces. Look, the Heritage Foundation sponsored the RNC. Tom Homan, one of the chief architects of Project 2025, also wrote Donald Trump's policy to put kids in cages in his immigration policies. Look, we don't have to wonder what a second Trump term would look like, because they have shown us. They have written the game plan. They've articulated it at the RNC, and they're again trying to lie to voters' faces about what they intend to do. Y'all, we got to see through all of this. It is urgent, because what Mike said is exactly right. They're not trying to take us back to, only Handmaid's Tale. They're taking us back to the land before time. What is articulated here is terrifying. What it's articulated here is about taking away our ability to put food on the table, to work a job and get a living wage, to make decisions that are right for our health care, to send our kids to school and count on them getting accurate education. We have to be very clear all that is at stake, because Project 2025 doesn't just want this to be an election where they get to put their plans into place. They want it to be the last election that we see that even resembles a representative democracy.
Mike, the Trump campaign, they may be trying to Heisman Heritage Foundation, but that's not working in reverse. I want you to take a listen to what Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts had to say about the J.D. Vance pick.
Okay. We've confirmed news that Senator Vance is the vice presidential running mate. You will see a broad smile on my face because you may know that we're good friends. I will offer two comments about that. The first is the entire list of names considered are great men and women, truly, truly, all of them friends of Heritage. There, among them, though, was someone that privately we were really rooting for, and he's just been named the running mate.
Privately, we were really rooting for. Publicly, we will now tell you that we were really rooting for him. And what I think we all found sort of interesting watching the convention is that very little of this stuff showed up in their primetime speeches, right? They know exactly what you said, which is it's all unpopular with a general election electorate. So they're going to try to step away with it, but their fingerprints are all over it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Alicia. And they have, as you noted in your intro, hundreds of former Trump administration officials who drafted this thing. And lots of those people are going to be in very high-ranking positions in the next administration if Trump wins. This is the Trump-Vance plan. You know, we all expected that the first administration would be bad, and it was. But let's understand that as bad as their intentions were, they were mired with incompetence to some degree. But this is going to be a different thing. Like, now the Velociraptors have learned how to open doors. They're coming in with 920 pages of detailed planning for how they can force us to teach our kids and what parts of our history we're allowed to learn and whether women can control their own bodies and who's allowed to vote and how we can or cannot express our differences with this government. And as Kelly said, they are trying to cement their power for the long term. And they can't do it through democracy because their views, as you say, are super unpopular. So they're looking for every way they can to control our lives with their narrow brand of ideology and ensure that they can do that for as long as we let them. And so it's up to all of us to make sure that this doesn't come to pass, I think.
On that point about what we're doing or have to do outside of this spat, I guess, between the campaign and Heritage. There are some important aspects of the work, Kelly, that need to get done because you're talking 920 pages here. And the American people are good at their summer reading on the beach, but I don't think this plan is going to be one of those items on their book list. So how do organizations, democracy-oriented organizations, help chisel this down, bite-sized chunks, so people, as Mike just kind of laid out, a point here, a point there about the impact on women, the impact on families, the impact on business, the impact on the economy. What do you recommend there? What are you guys doing? What do you see happening in this space to help the American people as we move into September and they turn up their attention span on these things, that they're getting exactly what they need to know about this plan, despite what lies may come from the campaign and Heritage about, we don't know each other, we don't even live in the same neighborhood?
Absolutely. That's why I'm dialed in from Wisconsin right now. We need to be out in the streets talking to people about exactly what's at stake because we can't get distracted right now. And I have to give some gratitude to Taraji P. Henson because her work, right, talking about Project 2025 is one of the ways that it put it on Front Street, exactly what we're facing. And let's be clear, like Mike said, this plan is terrifying. But what you're also seeing here is that they are not committed to following any of the rules, right? They just want to eliminate the Department of Education. They want to eliminate the Department of Labor. You've already seen how their Supreme Court has expanded presidential powers to make them kings. This is a scary, scary moment, and we've got to talk directly to voters about what's happening because we cannot be distracted right now. They're unified around hatred, around homophobia, around racism, around the idea of rounding up immigrants and deporting them. We have to be unified, not only against what we're fighting against, Project 2025, but what we're fighting for, which is a true America where all of us are represented and are able to live our freest lives.
Mike Zamore and Kelly Robinson, thank you both.